This song goes out to our good friend Rasputin. Thanks for taking such a crazy long time to die.
You're a huge inspiration to us.
Let's go. Rebecca, kick us a bean. European history, we're here to unravel all past mysteries. We wish we could stay here and absorb more knowledge. Don't believe Roth, we don't want to go to college. It's the best damn class that you've ever seen, taught by the one and only Mark Levine. It all starts after the Black Death in 1455. The Renaissance and merchants are on the rise. People trading in stuff like silks, gems, and fur, like our good old friend Jacob Fugger. Humanism the shiz. The church was a war that was new in Italy. They brought out the art for the courtiers, the princes, the merchants, the popes, but not imperialism replacing misanthropes. They live in Florence, Venice, hateful state, all fighting for supremacy. They all hate till they got a golden age from the Peace of Ludi. But the Renaissance got high on itself and OD'd. Savonarola did a match so Florence could be cured, and Renaissance was the way of the dodo bird. Martin Luther was pissed at the indulgences until he saw bad circumstances. He argued with the emperor at the imperial diet, but the Ottomans distracted and Charles couldn't fight it. The Reformation spreads as zwingli in the English king, spreading out with us despite the Catholic ring, but they were not united despite the colloquy, argue over transubstantiating. France, the wars of religion were on. 3 Henrys kissed Valois and Bourbon. They trade assassinations back and forth till Bourbon became King Henry IV. The Edict of Nantes brought freedom and revolution, but in the rest of Europe, it was still not good. In 1618, it was on again. The German Catholics versus the Protestants. The Catholic Germans wanted their curious regio to be able to decide their is religio. Bohemia was pissed that the Habsburgs and split Catholics out the window in a pile of shit. Everybody knew they were in altercation after this epic, craggy and defenestration. Denmark, Sweden, France came out in force and fought under the banner of Gustavus Adolphus. The 30 Years' War was dirty and freaky till it got sorted out with the Westphalian Treaty. Spain, meanwhile, tried to get back Holland, but they had forgot the inhabitants were Dutch! Yeah, mess with the Dutch. Don't mess with the Dutch. In England, they were having problems with management, with the king in a battle with the parliament. So one day, when down came the Scots, the Cavaliers, and the Roundheads kicked it off. The English Civil War, no mercy, you're dead, and Charles II lost off with his head. Cromwell's new model army was freaking great, but the Puritans were balmy, and the Catholics they hate. Lord protect to kill the Irish. Man, he'll pay, they're still feeling it now, just as the IRA. This is the period where absolutism starts trekking from Louis XIV to Leopold II. Louis, as the Sun King, ruled the sky, also known as his home Chateau of Versailles. The King of Sol wanted natural boundaries, so he sent his troops to invade the Low Countries. The French were beaten back by a clever strategy when the dikes were opened by the Dutch! This was also when the Enlightenment was starting to disperse, but don't worry, we'll cover that in the next verse. Leopold and his bro were getting real smart, perpetuating reason. That was their art, kind of like King Frederick the Great of Prussia, who made big changes, as did Russia. But the changes were a phony made by Catherine the Fat, a hoe, and not very enlightened at that. So here we are ready to fulfill our vow. If you want, we'll talk the Enlightenment now. We got people like Voltaire and Diderot with ballers like Malthus and Rousseau. Laissez-faire, tabula rasa, and the social contract based upon reason and scientific fact. They published the big-ass encyclopedia with articles from ancient to zoology. They loved Newton, Galileo, they got to a groove when they said, look, there, up there, it's still moving. The French Revolution people versus the king, party in the tennis court, let the bells ring. The monarch is trying to bring the peasants to heel, but it all went to hell when they stormed the Bastille. Louis got his royal blocked off chopped at the neck, and they threw in the Austrian whore. What the heck? Now the Jacobins, Robespierre are going berserk, and that bloody poor guillotine's hitting overwork. Thermidor comes round, take down terror demonic, Robespierre gets guillotined. That's ironic. Now, of all of AP Euro, this is our favorite bit. When Napoleon rose up, because man, he is the shit. Scrooge is the second coming of Charlemagne till he got bogged down by guerrillas in Spain. Deep in Russia, he lost his Grande Armée and was sent to Elba for a very short stay. Napoleon's back, 100 days it's on. He's rolling up like Donkey Kong. He
you won the Battle of Waterloo, you were rude. Poor Wellington got loo water up in his boot, and everybody lived happily ever after.
Enough said. Napoleon won the Battle of Waterloo. So here's the part in our little story where we get to the Victorians, and it gets kind of boring, except for the climbing Cavour and Bismarck. For Europe, this was a low water mark. The only thing that is worthy of mention is the Crimean War and the British intervention, although they got rocked when they sent in the Light Brigade. When you had 600 homies with sabers?
World War I, bunch of fighting, steel and mud, pretty much with the most fine thing since Ned Ludd. Germany tried the Schlieffen clan to roll up on France
Like the Muffin Man.
Lots of killing, especially at Verdun. The war of attrition had just begun. They fought in the trenches for 4 nasty years with a lot of blood, sweat, toil, and tears, till the Doba showed up to take down the German wieners. The American boys took the cross
to the cleaners.
At the Treaty of Versailles, they stuck them to blame. The proud Germans didn't want such a bad name. In the 20s, to protest the Rhineland invasion, the Weimar guys brought in hyperinflation. That just made it worse. In rapid succession, other economic problems made the Great Depression.
In a couple of years, Mussolini had created a fascist state in Italy. Pretty soon as Holy Hitler was being a vamp, trying drunken butchers and riding Mein Kampf. His feet were getting way too big for his shoes, so he starts finding room by killing the Jews. He's squashing liberty, getting rid of fun. Man, Nazis don't do the Charleston. Hitler started pushing other countries around when he started up the policy of Lebensraum. Chamberlain said, have Czechoslovakia, and we can't think of anything that rhymes with Czechoslovakia. When he invaded Poland, sparks started to fly, but only Churchill would fight and die. He invaded France, which fell like a tree, and was left with Pétain ruling Vichy. But resistance said, well, called our pals, Churchill, you was Stalin. Bring it on, Adolf. I'm Charles de Ballin.
Hitler got mad at Britain, ordered in the Luftwaffe. Everybody in London's dead than Jimmy Hoffa.
People out of the city get the kids on the road. 4 kids find a lion, witch, and a wardrobe.
Germans getting shot at like fish in a can, cause they're in London airspace more than Peter Pan.
Hitler ordered in the missiles V1 and V2, which halted burst, chim chim, and eat chim chiroo.
So now, at last, it's a day of the D when the Allied soldiers landed at Normandy. The Germans were all far away from what's happening, especially Hitler, who was still at home napping. Rommel and the Panthers, gosh, there was a bummer. It's like getting attacked by a division of Hummers. But the boys fought on the Red Army, too. Soon Hitler's brown shirts were all black and blue. The Germans spared Paris and Nero's line, or else Robert Langdon would have had a hard time if the January battle had never been found. We've never heard of a guy named Dan Brown. The Red Army captured Berlin in a flash and ended the man mission and the mustache, and everybody in Austria stood up to clap at the awesome performance by the family Von Trapp.
And now we go into post-World War II. We were gonna break all this history down for you. We can't, or we would catch some hell. We don't want to hear about the life of DL, like the time when she helped a man cheat the draft and burned all the and burned all the bras and invaded a school. As teachers go, DL's pretty cool.
Let's wrap this up and put it to bed like when the Parisians cut off Louis' head. This was a success, more than the table of rank. It's certainly more than that poor Jew's phalanx. He kept trying to get people matched up the same, but in the end, nobody came. We love AP Euro, keep on drinking that tea, and the rest, as they say, is history.